Hello and welcome to the Wine Turtle YouTube channel. My name's Jamie and I'll be your host as we taste and review popular wines from around the world. If you've not been here before, please think about subscribing, it would help me out enormously. Today I'm back at Costco, my favourite place for cheap wine. We've got the 2017 Ribera Del Duero Gran Reserva. Now this wine costs around $14 and it's a whopping 15% ABV. So it'll be interesting to see how that alcohol is integrated and if I have a headache tomorrow. The Kirkland Signature Gran Reserva Ribera Del Duero is made with 100% Tempranillo grapes that have been hand-picked and selected from ancient vines. Ribera del Duero is one of the most celebrated red wine regions in all of Spain, and it's located in the north-central area of the country. Similar to Rioja, there are different levels of aging. These wines are designated as Crianza if they are aged for 2 years with at least 12 months in oak, Reserva, which is 3 years aging and a minimum of 12 months in oak, or Gran Reserva, if they have been aged for at least 5 years with a minimum of 3 years in oak. This wine here is a Gran Reserva and it was aged in French oak barrels for 13 months before being transferred to American oak barrels and aged for a further 25 months. Finally, the wine was bottled and aged in a cellar for an additional 24 months prior to release. This 2017 release is now 7 years old, which is a really respectable age for a $14 wine. But it all counts for nothing if it doesn't deliver on taste. So let's get into it. So this is a garnet color wine that's medium in body. There's fruit here, but it's no longer ripe fruit. It's become stewed and concentrated over time. There's black cherry here with some blackberry, some strawberry, and some cherry tomato. There's also a bit of prune there. I've had this decanting for about 2 hours now, and I've had my nose in it a few times, and it's constantly changing. Oxygen is affecting this wine in a big way after it's been bottled for so long, and it's really fun to see it evolve and change over time. There's an earthiness to it, and there's a rolling tobacco type note that comes and goes, along with some violet as well, which I didn't get there, but it's been present in the past, and I'm sure it'll pop up again soon. And vanilla comes and goes in varying concentrations. But yeah, a really fun wine to smell this. A wine that's obviously got some age and some complexity to it for what I categorize as a cheap wine. Really impressive. So that earthiness continues on the palate. It's savoury and earthy, with more of a red fruit concentration on the palate. A little bit more black fruit dominant on the nose, on the palate. That strawberry comes through in a big way, along with a tart raspberry. Black cherry still there, and a bit of that prune and a light licorice. There's a wonderful balance to the flavour. There's nothing that really dominates. There's a lovely harmony within those fruit notes. But there's also character from the oak, a little bit of vanilla, a really light spiciness to it, and a really, really wonderful finish actually. I don't think I've had a finish of this length and depth of flavour in cheap wine before. This comes in at $14, what I'd categorize as a cheap wine, probably sub 15. And the finish is really impressive, really lovely. Structurally, there's some really finely grained, smooth tannins, by no means aggressive, wonderfully integrated, with some lovely acidity as well. It's not a very acidic grape, Tempranillo, and I would say this be medium acidity, very nicely judged. And it leads to quite a silky, smooth texture or mouthfeel to this, mostly contributed by the tannins. Wonderful texture. One thing I was really worried about was the alcohol. This is 15% ABV, which is significant, but it's really well integrated. I didn't notice it on the nose. Well, certainly after a decent length of decant, you don't notice it on the nose. It needs time. And it's not there in the palate either. Really well integrated, really well put together wine this. And one that's constantly changing. It's a real joy to drink. So I need to think a little bit about this and see what I'm going to score it. I don't know why I get surprised by these Kirkland Signature wines. I've had so many just unbelievable wines over the last few months. Yet, I'm surprised yet again. This is amazing. It really is. It's got a wonderful complexity and a depth of character, especially when you consider it's just $14. I mean, for me, that's a cheap wine. It's right at the top level of a cheap wine. But a cheap wine that's 7 years old is impressive in itself. But this is just so well put together. It's got those wonderful concentrated fruit notes with a lovely influence from the oak. And then you get that earthy savouriness from the age. It's just very well made, very well balanced, and incredibly Moorish. Another really fun thing is how it evolves over time. Decant it for an hour, have a sniff and a drink, you'll pick out some notes, leave it for half an hour, you'll find new notes, and they come and go and evolve into different things, and it's just a really, really fun wine. All for just $14. So I thoroughly recommend you buy this wine. It's really impressed me, and I'm going to score it 8.5 out of 10. It's one of the best scores on the channel so far, and yeah, a wine I'll never tire of drinking. If you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me and really help out the channel. And please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps out with us getting picked up in the YouTube algorithm. Right, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you'll join me again for our next video soon. Goodbye.